In your opinion, which was the single most pivotal saga in Dragon Ball Z? Well, if you ask me, that was surely the Saiyan saga. It abruptly evolved the world building and fundamentally changed our understanding of the story. If it weren't for Raditz, Goku would never have learned about his race. If it weren't for Nappa, Piccolo wouldn't have died and there wouldn't have been any reason to go to Namek for the Dragon Balls. And if it weren't for the existence of the Dragon Balls, Vegeta and Nappa couldn't have cared less about Raditz's death. Remember, it's only because of the Dragon Balls that Vegeta and Nappa took a year-long trip just to come to Earth. Of course, Vegeta lost. Heck, he couldn't even run away with his tail between his legs because even his tail was sliced off. But what if that was not the case? What if Vegeta actually won against Goku? What if he got his wish for immortality? For this scenario to play out, we first have to make sure that Piccolo stays alive throughout the saga. I mean, if he dies, the Dragon Balls would be rendered useless, and this what-if scenario wouldn't really play out all that well. This might surprise you, but the first time Piccolo and Kami learned about their race and their origins is from Vegeta. This was in chapter 214. As we saw, Vegeta and Nappa already knew about the Namekians. While they did not know that these Dragon Balls were the same as the Namekians' rumored power spheres, they quickly made the connection upon seeing Piccolo in person. And remember how Piccolo died? It wasn't because Nappa and Vegeta were trying to kill him. In fact, they knew they had to keep him around to later get information about the Dragon Balls. But Piccolo still died. He jumped in front of Gohan and sacrificed himself to save Gohan from Nappa's attack. Piccolo died, and with that, Kami also died. But because we don't want Piccolo to die, we're going to make Vegeta a little bit more pragmatic and level-headed in this version of the story. So now, let's get to the exciting part of the video. The battle against the Z-Fighters begins, and we start off with the Cybermen. Yamcha still gets cooked, but the gang manages to take care of the rest of them. This is where Nappa enters the fight. Now, Vegeta reminds Nappa that their goal is the Dragon Balls, and while Piccolo had already mentioned that he wasn't the one who created them, Vegeta tells Nappa to avoid killing him. He is the only Namekian they have seen so far, and if they kill him, they are going to lose their only lead on the Dragon Balls. Sure enough, Nappa may be reckless, chaotic, and overall stupid, but he isn't the type who'd cross Vegeta. He gives Vegeta a thumbs up and starts beating the absolute heck out of the other five. He just beats and beats them senseless. Even when everyone, including Piccolo and Gohan, try to jump him, he easily overpowers them. It doesn't take long before the Z-Fighters start falling like flies. Chaozu blows himself up in an attempt to take Nappa with him. Tien goes mad and dies while trying to avenge Chaozu. And of course, Yamcha has been dead for some time now, since, you know, it is Yamcha we're talking about. What now? You see, Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo are the only ones left. Nappa declares that he'll let the Namekian Piccolo live so that he can tell them about the Dragon Balls later. With this in mind, Nappa dashes straight at Gohan and Krillin. He's going to kill them. Surprisingly, Vegeta yells at him to stop and then addresses Gohan. He learns that Goku is Kakarot and he was actually wished back to life using the Dragon Balls. For the time being, Vegeta tells Nappa to stop rampaging and give them 3 hours. If Kakarot can arrive in 3 hours, good. Otherwise, he could just go ahead and do whatever he wants, except killing the Namekian, of course. 3 hours pass by and Goku is still not here. Whatever, Vegeta allows Nappa to do whatever he wants again. But just a few minutes later, they sense a strong source of ki approaching from afar. In Goku's typical fashion of arriving last in, Goku is finally almost here. Now, in the actual story, Vegeta just straight up tells Nappa to kill them because Goku's power level reading is way more than what it's supposed to be, and he doesn't want them all working together with Goku, as that could become a threat. In fact, in the actual story, Vegeta also mentions that they no longer need the Dragon Balls. They could just get them from Namek. But hear me out. That is what happens in the original story. In our alternate version of Dragon Ball now, Vegeta reacts way differently. When his scouter picks up on Goku, he is amused. The fact that Goku is back to life confirms that the Dragon Balls are indeed very real. Vegeta laughs and tells Nappa to stop for a while. They should welcome their incoming guest properly. That's right, Nappa doesn't attack Gohan relentlessly, and Piccolo survives. By that time, Goku enters the chat. Piccolo is still alive. When Goku arrives, Vegeta greets him with a question. How the heck did you get so much stronger so fast? And Goku replies, push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of juice. Or in simpler words, training. Though, don't get me wrong, just because Piccolo is still around doesn't mean Goku isn't angry. He is. After all, Yamcha, Chaozu, and Tien are all dead. He's pissed, and that is obvious by his angering ki. The classic over 9,000 moment happens.
It's over 9,000!
And Goku takes on Nappa, and just a few seconds later, it becomes blatantly obvious how outclassed and outmatched Nappa is. Goku makes a complete joke out of himself. This makes Vegeta call Nappa back because it's about time he fights Kakarot himself. Unfortunately, Nappa is still the same even in this version of the story. His ego is hurt, and so he tries to kill the others. Goku instantly uses Kaioken and cripples Nappa to the point where he can't physically move any longer. I'm sure everyone remembers what happens next. Vegeta makes Nappa self-implode for being such a useless piece of trash, but not in this story. Vegeta calls him trash and just lets him writhe in pain, while Goku takes Vegeta somewhere empty. The legendary fight between Goku and Vegeta takes place. But of course, Piccolo is still alive, and Nappa is not quite dead either. Unlike the actual story, Vegeta is level-headed enough to not kill Nappa because in his mind, you don't find useful idiots like him everywhere. Rather than killing his partner, Vegeta has more important things on his mind. For example, taking down Frieza. The fight begins, and although Vegeta has the advantage, Goku manages to keep up with him at Kaioken ×2. But even so, it doesn't take long before Vegeta proves that he is still stronger than him. Vegeta explains that this is the difference between an elite warrior and a low-class Saiyan, but he acknowledges Goku's strength and asks him to join him. But we all know Goku's reaction to that, right? Goku refuses. The fight continues, and Goku ends up resorting to Kaioken ×3. This is where it gets real. For the first time since the fight began, Goku overpowers Vegeta and destroys the illusion that Vegeta is the stronger one of the two. This leads to the legendary clash between Vegeta's Gallic Gun and Goku's Kamehameha. They are evenly matched. In fact, Vegeta even manages to gain the upper hand. However, the moment Goku goes all out, his Kamehameha vaporizes Vegeta's Gallic Gun and hits him like a tank. Now, he is supposed to use the artificial moonlight from the Power Ball to transform into the Great Ape, but that is not what happens in this version of the story. Vegeta returns back to the surface and asks Goku to join him once again. Goku refuses, but this time, Vegeta has more to say. He breaks the truth. He tells Goku about Frieza, the galactic overlord who destroyed their planet and killed their parents. He tells Goku that as Saiyan warriors, it is their duty to avenge their race. Goku is a bit shaken because he had no idea, but he also points out Vegeta's hypocrisy. On one hand, he wants revenge from Frieza for destroying their planet, but on the other hand, he actively goes around destroying and ravaging other people's planets. Now, let me tell you that although Vegeta is acting like an adult, he isn't going to make excuses for himself. He still has that same mentality, and that's why when Goku and Vegeta fail to reach an agreement, the fight resumes. Goku goes hard with Kaioken ×4. In his heart and soul, he is fighting for his friends and to save his planet. As for Vegeta, he cannot believe that a Saiyan would act this way even after learning the truth. Right here, right now, Vegeta swears to destroy Kakarot. He will kill him, then use the Dragon Balls to become immortal, and then take revenge on Frieza for destroying his planet. He is fighting for the legacy of the Saiyan race. Halfway through this round, Goku's body starts crumbling apart. The physical repercussions of abusing Kaioken finally catch up to him. The next time there was a clash between Gallic Gun and Kamehameha, it's Vegeta who overpowers Goku. Goku is defeated, and because Vegeta never used the Power Ball to transform into a Great Ape, Gohan and the others don't show up to save him either. Luckily, Yajirobe is around. He sneaks in and tries to run away with Goku's body right as Vegeta gradually approaches them. Sadly, Vegeta blasts and kills him. Goku is enraged. He manages to stand up once again with sheer willpower. By this point, Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo are also rushing straight here as they can sense Goku's life fumes withering away in real time. Vegeta looks at Goku and he can't help but respect him. He literally cannot even stand straight anymore, but he is still trying to fight. For a moment, Vegeta fantasizes about them working together to destroy Frieza and his empire, but it's too late. He has already made up his mind to kill Goku, but it won't be that easy. Goku finally manages to stand straight and he decides to multiply Kaioken even further. Kaioken ×5 it is. Every cell in Goku's body screams as he pushes his body to the limits. And Goku? He had already reached his limit a while ago. That's why the sheer recoil from abusing Kaioken without understanding the limits of his own body knocks him out. Goku collapses and falls on the ground. Vegeta stares at the sky for a few seconds before blasting Goku to death. He does it right as Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo finally arrive. Gohan screams and fumes with rage as he plunges forward at breathtaking speed and manages to land a devastating blow to Vegeta's gut. But Vegeta just stands up once again. He already has some bad taste left in his mouth because of Goku's death, though maybe that's why he doesn't feel like killing Gohan. He faces Piccolo and asks him about the Dragon Balls, but Piccolo just refuses to cooperate. Vegeta beats them up and leaves them unconscious. He returns back to the previous point to check up on Nappa, but it seems that Nappa has already died. Vegeta subconsciously draws a comparison between Goku with his final moments and Nappa's pathetic death. He doesn't think too much of it though. He'd rather spend his time looking for the Dragon Balls. Little did he know he'd have to wait an entire year before the Dragon Balls can be used again. Vegeta gives up when he fails to get any leads. He can't find Piccolo or the others again because his scouter is broken. They were taken away to safety by Bulma and are now keeping a low profile because they have a plan to deal with Vegeta. He gives up just a day later and decides to go and use the Dragon Balls of planet Namek instead. But guess what? As Vegeta enters his space pod, suddenly his space pod connects with an intermission and he overhears the fact that Frieza and his troops are headed to Namek. This stops Vegeta in his tracks as he considers the possibility that Frieza may have learnt about the Dragon Balls. Otherwise, there is no explanation as to why he'd head to stupid Namek of all places. That's right, it doesn't take long for Vegeta to realize that if he wants to win, he must find and use the Earth's Dragon Balls. If he goes to Namek as is, he'll be destroyed. The next question is, where are the Earth's Dragon Balls? How can he find him? A month passes by and Vegeta notices that his senses have improved. Now that he is no longer using the scouter, he is beginning to sense ki with his natural senses. Vegeta smiles as he notices a strong source of ki a couple thousand kilometers away. He dashes there at once, and guess what? It's the Lookout! The ki he sensed was that of Kami and Mr. Popo. Of course, when he moves at such speed, he also alerts Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. Now, you can probably imagine Vegeta's laughter as he gazes upon yet another Namekian. He also recalls how Piccolo told him that he wasn't the one who created the Dragon Balls, which leads Vegeta to conclude that the one who created Earth's Dragon Balls was this guy right here. Vegeta asks them both to just hand over the balls, but Kami reveals how it'll take about 11 months until they are active again. This enrages Vegeta, but he can tell that Kami is telling the truth. He wonders what to do next when Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin enter the chat. They rushed here because they were worried. Vegeta turns toward them and notices how Gohan is stronger than he was a month ago. Whatever, he isn't looking for a fight. Vegeta tells them that he'll return in 11 months for the Dragon Balls, and he leaves. He starts ravaging planets in the nearest solar systems to get stronger. Fast forward to 11 months or so later, Vegeta returns. And talk about a convenient coincidence, because the Z Fighters had already gathered the Dragon Balls. He notices the sky turn dark and immediately rushes to the source. Meanwhile, Piccolo and the others sense him coming. Krillin is about to ask Shenron to teleport them to planet Namek when he is hit by a sudden energy blast from Vegeta. It only took Vegeta 7 seconds to arrive here. Gohan and Piccolo retaliate against him, but he doesn't wait a single moment in knocking them out too. Yes, they were training, but not as hard or cold-blooded as him. Vegeta's presence causes Bulma, Puar, Oolong, and Turtle to rush inside. Master Roshi takes a stand as he should, but Vegeta sends him flying inside the house with an energy blast. This leaves Vegeta alone with Shenron. Shenron finds it awkward, but hear me out. If Oolong was able to hijack the wish and ask for panties back in the OG Dragon Ball, then you can be sure that Vegeta hijacking the wish won't be a problem either. He asks him for immortality, and just like that, Vegeta becomes the first Saiyan in universal history to attain immortality. He is hyped, so much so that he doesn't even care about Piccolo and the others. He immediately returns to his space pod and takes off for planet Namek. When he arrives there, he finds no signs of life. Literally none. There is not a single soul left alive on planet Namek. It makes Vegeta feel stupid because why the heck would Frieza still be at planet Namek? After all, it has been 11 months. But Vegeta is lucky because he can sense someone strong on the 7th planet of the nearest solar system. He gets there and finds the Ginyu Force. For a moment, Vegeta feels a bit reserved, but he realizes that this is the perfect time and opportunity to not only test his immortality, but also become stronger. Yeah, Vegeta is severely outclassed, but within 7 days, as he is beaten again and again, he finally becomes strong enough to destroy all 5 of the Ginyu Force. His power level has reached 90,000! Captain Ginyu coughs blood as he warns Vegeta that Frieza will definitely make him pay for this. This makes Vegeta ask the captain about Frieza's whereabouts, and well, with that, Vegeta takes off once again. A month later, he arrives at Frieza's current headquarters. He is immediately confronted by Zarbon and Dodoira, but of course, they are basically just Yamcha to him at this point. Next, Frieza enters the chat, and it leads to Vegeta getting brutally overpowered by him. If it weren't for the immortality, Vegeta would have been dead 10 times by now. Of course, Frieza notices this too, and out of curiosity, he asks Vegeta if he used the Dragon Balls. Well, Vegeta smiles, and that's all it took for Frieza to understand what happened. This infuriates Frieza, because even after he found the Dragon Balls, he was never able to figure out how to use them. He just flipped and exterminated all the Namekians back then. Going back to the fight, Vegeta is launched into space when Frieza uses his final transformation. He stays in space for the next 3 days. Vegeta's body is now in a state of suspension, but then on the 4th day, he is hit by an asteroid which crash lands him back on the planet. He gets up, brushes away the dust, and confronts Frieza once again. It's time for round 2, and yes, it happens. Frieza's ultimate nightmare comes true. For the first time in 1,000 years, a Saiyan achieves the Super Saiyan state. Vegeta then completely destroys Frieza like it means nothing. He doesn't even let him die. He makes sure to make Frieza suffer as much as he can. He plays with him for 7 days until finally allowing the lizard the privilege to die. Vegeta laughs hysterically. He heads inside Frieza's ship to see if he can find a sweet drink to savor this moment, but then suddenly the screen flashes and ruins the mood. It's King Cold. He thought he should video chat with Frieza and get updates on the family business, but instead, he is greeted with a sight of Vegeta standing alone in the room. King Cold suspiciously asks Vegeta about Frieza, but he shows the man Frieza's dead body. This leaves King Cold flabbergasted. Vegeta is enjoying it though. He lifts his finger and points straight at the king. You are next. A month later, Vegeta finds King Cold in another galaxy and obliterates him along with all of his forces. Having accomplished his life's goal, Vegeta is suddenly overwhelmed with a feeling of temporary euphoria. But here, remember this. The reason Universe 7's mortal level is so low is because the number of advanced civilizations in the universe has dropped to just 28. planet. And yes, while Beerus and Shin are at fault for not doing their jobs, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that it is the Frieza family that is wiping out civilizations from ancient, long-standing planets, and then selling those planets to the highest bidders. In the original story, remnants of the Frieza Force were still around even after Trunks killed both Frieza and King Cold. However, the difference here is that in the months leading up to when Vegeta kills King Cold, he has been destroying and just straight up obliterating any allied forces of the Frieza Empire he comes across. And not long after he kills King Cold, the word spreads without him even realizing it, and Vegeta gains a reputation as the new galactic overlord. He is feared as the new emperor of the universe. And guess what? The handful of remaining forces that were still occupying some planets began to leave, as nobody wanted any association with the Frieza Force. In a very real sense, Universe 7 begins to heal. And the funniest thing is that Vegeta couldn't care less about this. He just acted on his hatred for Frieza and his empire. Nothing more, nothing less. And speaking of Vegeta, he is wondering what he should do next when he experiences someone's presence on a nearby planet. Someone strong. He sets out, and after some time, he arrives at his next important destination, Planet Vampa. Vegeta is very curious on how the heck can anyone but a literal bug survive on this planet. He could have never even imagined that he'd find some fellow Saiyans on here. Yes, this is Planet Vampa, the place where Broly has spent all of his life. Paragus is in the hospital because, oh well, it's Prince Vegeta we're talking about. And anyway, Vegeta tells them all about what happened. Everything from when Planet Vegeta was destroyed to how he ultimately avenged the Saiyan race by killing Frieza and then King Cold. Meanwhile, Gohan, Krillin, Piccolo, and Bulma depart for Planet Namek on a capsule spaceship. It takes them a month to arrive, and all they see is pure horror. An entire civilization is dead and buried. As they are trying to rationalize what may have happened, all of them come to a single, simple conclusion. It was Vegeta. It's sad, but can you blame them? They don't even know about Frieza. The only thing they know is that Vegeta was the one who told them about Namek in the first place. Ultimately, Bulma suggests that when Earth's Dragon Balls are active again, they should use them to bring the Namekians back to life. Going back to Vegeta and Broly, a fight takes place between them, not because Paragus was acting suspicious, but because Vegeta himself wanted to see why Broly somehow felt stronger than Frieza. When Vegeta goes Super Saiyan, he leaves Paragus stunned. As for Broly, it barely takes a few moments before Broly is already strong enough to match and then overpower Vegeta's Super Saiyan transformation. But even though Broly's rate of growth is practically abnormal, Vegeta begins to grow stronger too. He achieves Super Saiyan 2, but Broly continues to dwarf him despite not even being a Super Saiyan. This pisses Vegeta off, and he blasts a full-scale Final Flash on Broly. Unfortunately, Broly dodges it instead of blocking it. Planet Vampa is destroyed, and if there's someone who doesn't survive the impact of the planetary destruction, then you can be sure that that someone is Paragus. While Vegeta is trying to find a nearby planet to get some fresh air, Broly notices his father's corpse just floating around in space. He is struck by a sense of rage unlike anything he has experienced before. Just like that, he transforms. The legendary Super Saiyan is now present. In a sudden twist of fate, Broly distorts the fabric of time and space as he lands a devastating blow on Vegeta's gut. The impact is so powerful that it creates a rift in the boundary of the universe and forces Vegeta out. Broly also follows along, and neither of them realize that they are no longer in Universe 7. For the sake of context, let's just say that the planet Vampa was already situated at the edge of Universe 7, and we also know from the Broly movie that a strong enough punch can break the laws of the universe. I mean, the novel version of the Broly movie describes the clash between them and Gogeta as something so powerful that it breaks the boundaries of the universe and transports them to another dimension. Something similar happens here. The raw energy of Broly's punch creates a wormhole which momentarily connects Universe 7 to Universe 6. That's how Broly and Vegeta end up in Universe 6. Throughout the course of the next couple of years, they both travel through this universe unaware and understandably confused about what's going on. One day, they come across Frost, and Vegeta doesn't even hear him out. He just kills him. Ultimately, after hearing about a Saiyan planet from an alien on a random planet, they step foot on planet Sadala, and the rest, as they say, is history. Meanwhile, in these past 2 years, the Namekians were revived by Earth's Dragon Balls. Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, and Bulma make another trip to planet Namek and help them rebuild their villages. The Grand Elder chooses Elder Muro as his successor, and Muro adapts the dragon so that multiple people can be brought back to life at once. They wish for everyone who died on that day when the Saiyans arrived to be brought back to life. Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and Goku return to life. But of course, Nappa is revived too. Goku immediately defeats him though. In the end, things go back to normal for the Z-Fighters, while Vegeta and Broly start their new lives with the Saiyans of Universe 6. Everything is now fine, right? Well, not exactly, as Trunks is never actually born. And let me tell you that Dr. Gero is still around. He's been on the grind ever since young Goku destroyed the Red Ribbon Army. He has studied Goku's fights with Tien, King Piccolo, and he has also taken data from the fights against Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta. There is no Trunks to pull up to the past and warn the Z-Fighters about the androids, so if someone even half as strong as Android 19 were to show up, it's going to be an absolute disaster for Goku and his friends. But more of that in this video, where we explain what would have happened if Vegeta remained evil and thus Trunks was never actually born. Go on, click it.